Hey everybody, hello, welcome to the Fantasy Books and Games Tuesday night comic book preview stream. I'm Aaron, this is Sam,
Hey, what up?
and it is the fifth Wednesday in October.
It's
we were
all spread
we were
out.
talking about that. I feel like this whole month I've been saying, like, there's some stuff but not a lot, and
Right.
that's why it's you got that fifth week in there. But you know what, there's still a decent sized stack here of stuff to show off, and several books in my regular poll that are coming out this week that I'm pretty excited about. And also several books that I feel like we've been waiting a long time for coming out. And we'll get to them all in
Yeah.
good time. Sam, you know
Definitely.
what we like to start with
Oh, I
for
know.
this stream. And that, of course, is facsimiles. There's only one lonely facsimile out this week,
That's it.
unless I'm mistaken, which has happened before. But I only saw the one, and it is Archie facsimile. Archie's Girls Betty and Veronica, number 40. This issue is originally printed in 1959. And this is, let me get that on the camera there. This is like the one facsimile that they've done for Archie that I'm not entirely sure why they're doing it as a facsimile, other than it's like a striking cover. Like they've done, there've been like a variety of reasons why they'll do these reprints. Either they're classic issues, or they have a famous cover, like just a really good cover,
Right.
or it's like a key, like the first appearance of a character. This one, it's not like a key as in like a first character, or it's I don't even know if it's a notable story. I'm not an Archie expert, I should say. I
No.
don't really know a whole lot about Archie, but I do know that they have done reprints for some issues that just had, I guess you would call them covers that kind of became infamous or viral way after the fact because they end up being more suggestive than they mean to be. Because, like, by the 1950s standards, it's like a simple thing, and then now, in the present day, like the famous, like there's a Batman comic where Joker pulls a boner. Like that's the phrase.
What?
That's the phrase, a boner. Like when you do something stupid, it's called a
Yeah,
boner back in the 50s,
but it's just
and
aged
it's just
horribly.
aged horribly. And there's that famous panel of the Joker reading the newspaper and saying, "Laugh at my boner, will they?" And so there's a few issues of Archie. Like there's a famous one where Archie says he had to beat off a bunch of guys. They did a facsimile of that last year, I believe. So this one. It's a nice cover with Betty and Veronica. I don't know if it's super suggestive. I don't want to plant thoughts in your head, but it's a funny issue. I did read this one, and it's charming. It's ironically not ironic. That's not what I mean to say. People overuse ironic all the time. I
Yeah.
think it's somewhat it's just interesting that the stories in this feel sort of there many of them are about economic issues and like class warfare, which I guess is just one of those things where
Is
I'm
that
reading this and I'm like, well, this feels as true today as it did in 1959.
is that a commonplace in Archie to talk about
Well, so
economics?
like Veronica is rich, like
Right.
that's one of their
Yeah.
characteristics, and there's so like what this one of these stories is like Betty, for whatever reason, she listens to the principal. I think it's Principal Weatherby. Yeah, Mr. Weatherby.
Yep.
And he gives like a speech about being positive, and so she's trying to be nice and be happy, and she congratulates Archie on dating Veronica because she congratulates Archie's dad on Archie dating Veronica because Veronica's family is rich, and that's good for Archie that he'll finally get to have some luxury and money. And then she goes and congratulates Veronica's dad for being so nice to Archie and helping him out by letting him date Veronica. Now he can move up in the world and be rich. And
Did
then of
he
course it all uh, she accidentally gives them backhanded compliments, and then it turns into a big argument about money and happiness and stuff like that. And there's some other little things like that. There is also a Friday the 13th joke in this, which does make it feel sort of appropriate for
Mhm.
October, but it's only one, like it's a single page gag joke. But anyway, so that's our one facsimile that we're talking about today, Betty and Veronica. I love that they reprint the old stuff because I'm an old guy that likes old comics, even stuff that is 20 20 or more years before I was born. Okay, there's also a few second printings that are coming out tomorrow. Skinbreaker #1, second printing. We talked about this one.
Yeah.
I just put this one briefly on the stream. We don't have much more to say about it that we didn't say previously, but
It's worth it for the art.
it's worth it for the art. Like, this is such a cool looking book. I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of David Finch. I think he's a good artist, but like, you can tell this is something where he's really bringing it. Like, this is something he really wants to draw. So if you like fantasy and you like lush detailed art, this is really, really good. A lot of these double page spreads in this.
Yes.
Like, it's definitely like an artist book,
Yeah.
artist comic. But anyway, so cool stuff. Glad to see that they're doing a new printing of this one, because #1 sold out pretty quickly. And also a second printing of Deadpool Batman. Mostly this one, I think, exists for this cover,
Right.
with the logo cover, which, if you read Deadpool Batman, the final story is this like mashup character of Wolverine and Lobo. And it's kind of a callback to the last time, not the last time, but one of the last times Marvel and DC did a crossover, and they created the Amalgam universe. And that's where you had, I'm trying to find, there it is. Yeah. There's like the final story in the back is, there he is, logo. And it's just a callback to that, those stories where they mashed up the characters to create new characters. Okay, that's actually it for like the reprints and the older stuff. Let's see. I got a few other things that are coming out tomorrow to show off that I haven't really read, but they're worth talking about.
Sure.
Return to Sleepy Hollow #1. This is a sequel, a comic book sequel to the 1999 Tim Burton movie Sleepy Hollow, starring
wow.
Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci. And so this is like it's a sequel to it. And I haven't, like I said, I haven't read it. Did you ever see Sleepy Hollow?
It's been a long time. Like, I was very little when I
Yeah,
saw it.
yeah. I'm like pretty sure I saw it.
Yeah.
But it would have been like around the time it came out, and I just don't remember anything about it. I just couldn't tell you. Also, it also has that problem where a lot of Tim Burton's movies from that era all start to blend in for me.
This one is a little different, I guess, like tonally from a lot of his movies.
Well, it's before he went into his, like, I guess I don't want to be too mean, but his like lazy Disney phase, where it was just remake after remake and creepy Disney stuff. Oh, you've been wanting to rewatch Sleepy Hollow? Well, maybe we'll watch Sleepy Hollow, and then I'll be prepared to read the sequel. It is a good looking book, I should say. The
cover's nice.
Yeah, this is a really nice cover. That's like the Johnny Depp Ichabod Crane character, and I like the way so the art is by Savannah Mayer, and I like the way that so like I said, it's a good looking book, but I like that the character appears in it, but she's not doing like I'm trying to find another good panel of Johnny Depp's character Ichabod Crane. Yeah, like here, like she's not doing like a caricature of Johnny Depp.
Right.
Like, it's not meant to necessarily look like Johnny Depp, but it still evokes the character.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I like about it. So yeah, it's a pretty good looking book. But anyway, like I said, I haven't read it, but looks solid, and I'm sure it's very appropriately Tim Burton-y.
Right.
And so forth. Okay, also coming out tomorrow, Superman Red and Blue, the 2025 special. They did a mini series a few years ago, the Superman Red and Blue series, and it's like an anthology series. I picked this one off the shelf. It's always such a dangerous game with anthologies, because like sometimes you get a story that you love, and then you get a story that you hate, and then you get something that's fine but you don't really care about. And so this one, the cover is great. I love Chris Samnee, and this is a really cool cover.
Mm-hmm.
And so I picked it up. I was like, oh, let me check this out. And I gotta say, no disrespect to the creators that are in it, because there are some good creators in here, but I was disappointed that Chris Samnee doesn't have a story in it, because
for real?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, he just did the cover, and like there's a story written by Paul Dini and illustrated by Mirka Andolfo So like that's good. And there's a story written by Dan Abnett, and I like him as a writer. And there's some good stuff in here, but I gotta say, I was like a little disappointed when I looked through it, and I was like, oh no, no Chris Samney. This one by Michael Walsh is pretty good. I like this one. This is probably my favorite one out of the stories that are in there, and I like the. I
This
mean,
seems like art that you would gravitate.
it is. Yeah, I was about to say it feels similar to Chris Samney, honestly. So yeah, it's the type of art that I like, and yeah, it's really good. So yeah, they just decided to do this. I'm assuming this is a one shot. I didn't really look into it that much, but a nice little extra Superman anthology to add to your collection. All right, Sam, what's something that you read today that you want to talk about?
What did I read that I would like to talk about? We both read Absolute Batman.
Ooh, we did.
The annual for 2025 by Daniel Warren Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Let's put
the
this one on screen. It's Daniel. It's got a story by Daniel Warren Johnson and also James Herron.
Yeah.
And this is like not fair. I mentioned this briefly earlier. I have already decided I don't like Absolute Batman, and I'm not interested in reading Absolute Batman. And then they go and make an oversized anthology issue with two of the coolest comic book creators currently making comics, doing short stories in it. And this is like what I was saying with anthologies. Sometimes you get stories by creators you don't care about. This is like everything that I care about,
Right.
except for the character.
They got you.
They got me
Yeah.
because like this is a cool cover by Daniel Warren Johnson, and it looks great. It's not. I appreciate that it's not. I mean, I guess I haven't been reading Absolute Batman, but it doesn't appear to be tied to any specific story that's happening in the regular Absolute
No.
Batman books.
The origin of the Batmobile, I guess, or
Oh,
this version of the Batmobile.
Yeah, I guess I didn't put that together. But yeah, this is probably
That's
supposed to
about
be like where he got the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Without spoiling anything, I guess.
And
But
that's really like a minor part.
it's such
of
a minor part of it. It's such a minor part that I didn't even put it together. That's probably what it is. But yeah, it looks good. Like you were saying earlier, it's a little topical, a little timely.
It's very timely. It's very violent. As Absolute Batman has been incredibly violent.
Yeah, there's a double page spread. I don't want to show it just because I don't want to like give away how awesome it is, but it's pretty awesome. But yeah, what did you think of this?
I liked it a lot. I especially liked the Daniel Warren Johnson story quite a bit. Like we said, topical, timely. Like I think oh shoot, how do I want to put this? Like I really enjoyed his interpretation of the character and like basically like how a very hyper violent Batman. First off, why is this Batman so much more violent than the regular Batman?
Because it's the absolute universe. Everything's dark and infused with omega particles or whatever. Didn't you read DCKO?
I did.
Yeah, that's it. It's the reason why. It's just
it's fair, I guess.
It's the darker alternate universe.
Yeah.
Like DC doesn't have enough of those.
Right. Yeah. Like I don't mind it knowing that that's kind of like the the setting and the application of Batman is just going to be a little more violent in the absolute stuff. It doesn't bother me. It's just very noticeable.
It's very, very noticeable.
Yeah.
It's also, I think it's partly what, not to get on a tangent, but it's where I kind of like, I can't stop myself from rolling my eyes at Absolute Batman, because it's like, it's the violent version of Batman, but also he's still trying to do the whole non-lethal thing.
Right.
And I can't tell if that's supposed to be a joke.
I think it's a joke in here.
Okay. Because there's so many ways of like, everything is not, I want it to be non-lethal because I don't use guns and I don't kill people, but also, he has an axe that he just cuts people's arms off and leaves them to bleed out. Like, and
they're in the middle of nowhere in this story. Like, nobody is coming for like medical assistance.
Right. For this, there's, like we said, there's a big fight in this one, and it's like, there's no medical assistance for any of these people that are just getting ripped to shreds. But that's just, I think you're just supposed to roll with it. I think that's that's just what Absolute Batman is.
Fair enough.
And then the second story by James Herron. He's the writer and artist from the comic series Ultra Mega that has come out. Well, the first book came out several years ago, and then I think this this year that the sequel came out. I think it was.
That
It was
sounds
relatively
right.
recent.
Yeah.
But anyway, this I liked this one too. This was
Yeah, it was good.
just it's just good stuff. It's good looking stuff. Like
Mhm.
I mean, that's the one thing I will definitely say about Absolute Batman. It has had killer artists working on it. Like it
Yeah.
has had some of the best artists working in superhero comics right now. So they definitely got that going for them.
Yes.
I don't know. So yeah, you've been reading Absolute Batman?
I am completely caught up as far as I know.
Okay, so
Yeah.
would you say that like if you've been following Absolute Batman, you're gonna need this, you're gonna enjoy it, you're gonna like
You're
it,
gonna
even
enjoy
though
it.
it's not
You-
the main character or the main creators? I mean,
Right. It doesn't seem like a necessity to understand anything in Absolute Batman on
Mhm.
the ongoing series, I mean. But if you like this iteration of the character, like
Yeah.
you gotta get this one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. All right. A few things that came out that I was excited about. Let's see here. There were several series. Well, I guess there's a few things in my regular poll. I'll just briefly mention Batman and Robin Year One, Issue 12. This series concludes. I can't. I probably ask you this every time I talk about this. You have not read it. Okay.
I need to though.
Well, this
You
one,
keep telling me.
the great Chris Samney, you know
know.
that I was saying, did he does the art on this, and it's just so good looking, and it's a really good conclusion.
Two-Face?
Yeah, Two-Face and Clayface are the main two villains,
I love
and
Two-Face.
this is just great. It's written by Mark Waid, art by Chris Samney, and I love the as I've said before, I love the Year One type stories where it's like a younger Batman who's still kind of learning how to do this, how to be
Right.
Batman, and that's what this one is like him learning how to be a mentor, father figure to Robin, and it's just really good. Very satisfying conclusion. There's a good. I guess I'll just like. There's a good, nice little moment. Since I'm at this page, I'll spoil it. They're fighting Clayface, and Batman stabs something into his head, and Clayface is like, "Do you think a knife's gonna stop me?" And he goes, "It's not a knife. It's a dual composite explosive." And Two Face goes, "Heh, nice," because it's a dual composite, and Two Face can't like help his compulsion. He just appreciates the use of a two, a dual thing.
That's amazing.
So that's really good. It's really
Yeah.
nicely done. There's a few other like references and callbacks. It's maybe a little indulgent, but it's only at the end, so it feels like it's kind of earned.
Right.
Where it's like I won't spoil it.
We've got you for this many issues. We might as well just throw these.
Yeah,
awesome
and it's all
characters.
part of the conclusion
Yeah.
and like the climax and then setting the because like it is like this is a story of like how we get to Batman and Robin being the dynamic duo. You
Right.
know, really really good series. It's one of my favorite Batman books coming out right now. I guess it's done though. This is the last issue.
That's nice.
I really kind of hope they do like a Batman and Robin Year 2. That'd be great.
Have you read Dark Patterns yet?
I haven't.
Okay.
I was just talking about it with a customer today. In
Yeah.
fact, he was really recommending it.
Really
So I need to pick up the trade on that. It's also close to being finished, I believe. Right. One more issue. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, when that finishes, I'll definitely. If I can get a nice collected edition, I'll sit down and read it all because you keep saying it's good.
It's
And
worth it.
other people tell me it's like the best Batman book out right now,
Yeah.
and I don't know how I missed it. I mean, probably just because there's too many Batman books. Like there's just so much Batman.
There is a Batman saturation point.
But that's always the case.
Yeah.
Also coming out tomorrow, another thing that's reaching a saturation point for me is Conan the Barbarian's Scourge of the Serpent. This is another one of the Conan event books that they're doing at Titan, and I am enjoying it. And I think, I've been on the record as not liking events, but Jim Zub has been killing it with the Conan stuff, and I think that's what helps too. Is all of this is just written by Jim Zub. He's
Yeah.
basically just the Conan guy at this point, so it's not like they bring in other creators to kind of
doesn't have the same pitfalls as Event Comics.
Exactly, yeah.
Too many cooks.
Yep, exactly. And just always, you got great art on it. And this has been good. The nice thing about these crosses, this one crosses over with Conan and Call the Conqueror, a different Robert Howard character, and then also like a more contemporary 1934 character. Because Robert Howard, I probably said all of this the last time we talked about this issue, but he wrote a lot of pulp stories, like set in different times and with lots of different characters. Conan is just the one that's kind of been the most popular and endured the longest. So I think it's really neat that Jim Zub is reaching back through Howard's other stuff and kind of tying it in weird ways.
That's awesome.
With Conan. Yeah, it's really good. And it's also nice that this is just strictly a 4-issue series, and it's not going to string it along too far. So I really appreciate that as well. Also coming out tomorrow, Sleep number 6. I have been loving this series by the great Xander Cannon, and this is the one I've talked about. The main character he's got some kind of thing where he's turning into a monster, and when he turns into a monster, he just blacks out and goes to sleep.
Right.
And so the whole story is told from his perspective, where he just wakes up and there's destruction everywhere. And it's really good. It's ramping up to, I don't want to call it a plot twist, but there was like a significant kind of scene in this that it doesn't really shed any light. This whole series has been kind of very mysterious from the get-go, which I have enjoyed, and I've been doing my best to not not like overthink everything and like try to figure out like what's going on. And I'm more or less just reading it and just taking it as it comes. And then I really want to like sit down and reread the whole thing and see what kind of clues and other things are going to be in there. But yeah, there's definitely a scene in this issue that's it sheds some light on like a plot development, like there's something that like adds a new question, I guess you could say, is a better way to put it. So I really enjoyed it. This is a great book. I'm a big fan of Xander Cannon. He's a good comic creator. But yeah, awesome book. Definitely check it out. Issue 6 of Sleep. Also coming out tomorrow, something that has been waiting for several months, that's been in my pull, Robo Wolf number 2. Do you remember talking about number 1? I mean, I think it was in May when it came. It was over the summer for sure. And so I'm very glad issue 2 has come out by the Jake Smith. He illustrated that Godzilla series last year, I think, War for Humanity. And so yeah, I'm very glad he's doing his creator-owned series, Robo Wolf. I don't know how to like really say it it's just really simply put, just like an homage to 80s style action, not just movies, but also video games and comics, and just everything is to the extreme and over the top. You can see it in his art style. Like this opening flashback is very Predator, like even that's like
a G.I. Joe parody.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like the way I kind of describe it is like it's a tribute to the 80s, although nothing in the 80s actually looked like this. You know what I mean? This is like the fantasy version of the 80s after like 40 years of retrospect and what would you say? Just the evolving of the myth of the 80s, over time. Like
Vaporwave.
Like Vaporwave, exactly. That's a really good way to put it, because I do enjoy listening to Vaporwave.
Me too.
But I'm like, this like evokes the 80s without actually sounding like the 80s, Like it's like almost John Carpenter, but not really, But yeah, so that's definitely what Robo Wolf is, and it's good. I enjoy it. It's very silly. Everything is played for laughs, but his art is just so beautiful. I love the bright colors. I love his like the way he just draws faces, like they're so odd looking and expressive. I guess that's the word I'm thinking of. Mm-hmm. And yeah, just look at this beautiful double page spread of these slime monsters getting cut up by a guy with chainsaw hands. It's ridiculous. It's outrageous. But very glad that Robo Wolf is back, because it has been a minute. Also, something that I've been waiting for a few months is Moonshine Bigfoot number 4. I really enjoyed it. This is another one that's kind of like you got your copy there. This one's another one that's kind of like a like a tribute to the 80s and 70s setting for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I haven't had a chance to read this issue yet, but you said you did read it.
I
So
did read
what
it.
did you think?
It was a good conclusion. It kind of everything kind of wraps up more or less the way that you would think, but it has a lot of the good Moonshine Bigfoot humor in it, you know, to keep you entertained. The art looks amazing.
It's such a good looking book. Like
Yes.
this is so good looking. I really can't get over how good looking this book is. I say this all the time, but like comics don't look like this anymore
No.
because everything not that I'm like a Luddite or anti-technology, but so many things are done digitally and it just doesn't have this type of depth of like lines on the page and the ink work. Like that's part of the reason we were talking about Skimbreaker. Like it's such a good looking book because it's just so detailed and
Right.
and lush with the artwork on the page. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah. So you're pretty confident that these started as physical pages? Or?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
It's that's part of the thing too. Is it's not to say that you can't do this kind of work digitally,
Right.
because I know people do, but it just looks like the work of a traditional artist.
Yeah.
And but I could be wrong. It could be digital.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure either way, but the inking definitely is something that seems like it is like a physical
Yeah,
media as opposed to
it
digital
does.
in this book in particular.
It's definitely so. It's the type of art, and I say this a lot. It's the type of art that would work really well in black and white
Yeah.
because so much of the art is put into the line work and like all this like shading and all the details on the like the character designs, and all the panels are full panels like with backgrounds in them.
Right.
And you read a lot of other contemporary comics that I know are done digitally, and it just the pages look half as full as these.
Right.
You know.
And like there's just different kinds of textures and stuff applied to the colors. You get a more of that airbrush kind
Yeah,
of
that
soft
airbrush.
look, and
Whenever I complain about the look of Marvel comics these days, this is what we're talking about. But yeah, this. So you said this was a good conclusion to it.
yeah, it was a good conclusion, and there
Mhm.
may be more.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm very glad to hear that because I I really enjoy this comic, and I was disappointed that it's only 4 issues. Like I
Yeah.
want him to keep going with it.
Well, it's crazy how much of like a pop culture impact this series has had for being so short. Because I mean, what was that book that they featured like a
Oh,
Moonshine
yeah,
Bigfoot
we were talking about
cosplayer?
the it was the horror comic that took place at like San Diego Comic
That's
Con.
right.
And I
Yeah.
don't remember what it was called right now. But yeah, it had a reference to Moonshine Bigfoot on it. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was dope.
Awesome. Well, good. Excellent. Definitely check out Moonshine Bigfoot. This is one of the best looking comics on the stands, and I mean that legitimately.
And one of the funniest.
And yeah, and funny. Like I guess that's one thing. I guess I'm forced to if I'm forced to compare these two, because I do
Ooh.
think that there are some similarities just in the intent. Like like I said, they both kind of pay homage and tribute to 80s style
Yeah.
action stuff. Whereas I feel like this one is more like Moonshine Bigfoot feels more like something that could exist in the 80s. Whereas RoboWolf, as I established, is like the fake 80s that exists in memes today.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That emulates like
That
the I don't know the video games and like
they need a Sailor Moonshine comic now. That'd be great. I would love it.
I'd read it.
Yeah, you bet I would. But anyway, I recommend both comics. They're both really good. RoboWolf and Moonshine Bigfoot. Definitely cool stuff that are so unique in their vision, and they're unlike anything else you're going to see on the stands.
Yep.
All right, let's see. What do you have? I got a few. Let's see. We talked about that one.
I got one more, and then I have a book that I skimmed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's briefly talk about Undeadpool. I don't think did we grab any of the other X-Men books off the shelf to show off? I don't think we
Today,
did.
no.
Yeah, today.
Well, that's normally what I grab.
That's normally what you're reading, right? Yeah.
I didn't read any of them today.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm stepping up, and I read one of them. I read Undeadpool #1. I wasn't planning on reading many more of these Age of Revolution X-Men books, but it kind of got me with this one because it's written by Tim Seeley, who is a creator that I really like. He's been doing a lot of stuff lately. He's that guy works. Like he's never not working. And so I thought this issue was okay. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. It doesn't appear to really have anything to do with the main plot, which I think is fine because it's it's just a Deadpool story.
Right.
The main conceit, which I kind of enjoyed, is that Deadpool has turned into a zombie because and they kind of like they explain it well enough where he contracts like a virus that normally kills people, but he has this healing factor, and so it like balanced out where his like the healing factor is working on overload to keep him alive so that he's not dead, but also it just kind of turned him into this like walking vegetable man who is just kind of going through the motions and just kills things whenever he sees them, but his mind is still intact. He just can't control he just can't control himself, and so he's
Sounds
narrating it is it actually it really does kind of sound like a living hell situation where he's kind of just narrating this internal monologue of like what's happening, and it works in a Deadpool context because he's always been kind of crazy and breaking the fourth wall and such. I did not know where this was really going to go. They introduced a lot of these new characters. This team here, I think that we saw on like the first page.
Now, is it the X virus that?
Yes, it was the X virus.
Okay.
Yeah, he contracts the X virus.
Gotcha.
I figured that was like a thing that was a part of something.
Oh yeah. So in Age of Revelation, it either makes you a mutant or it kills you.
Okay, yeah. That's what it was.
Gotcha.
So because of the weird origin story of him, how he's like not a mutant, but he's adjacent. He's like a mutant adjacent. So like it didn't turn him into a mutant, but it couldn't kill him either, and it just turns him into this like undead, like walking zombie. Yeah, it was all right. There's definitely some meta jokes for sure in it. I think one of the reason I kind of enjoyed this and didn't immediately write it off was because it's written by Tim Seeley. I'm sorry, I thought I had this on the camera. And so there is, I think I've mentioned before, I'm like an old school Deadpool reader. I read Deadpool comics in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy the original, the volume 1 of Deadpool, of his ongoing series. And Tim Seeley, in this like recapping of Deadpool's history, he makes some references to it, and I kind of appreciated like Tim Seeley's definitely a fan of the 90s era comics, and he's a guy who knows comics, and so I just appreciated. I was like reading this, I'm like, oh yeah, like that's like this, in a weird way, it feels more like the Deadpool that I know than whenever he just shows up in a lot of contemporary comics and he's the wacky lol so random guy. I was like, this sort of feels like the real character of Deadpool in this. And so I kind of enjoyed that. The rest of the story it's fine. There's kind of a plot twist. I guess I don't really want to reveal it.
Sure.
And then there is a final page, like teaser of like what the next issue is going to be. And I don't really want to reveal that either, even though if you've seen the solicits for the covers for the next issues, you know what it is. So it's not really a spoiler. Like, but I went into this completely blind because I'm not really following the Age of Revelation books. I've not seen what any of the future covers are, and I got to that final page and I was like, oh, neat. That works. So good on you, Tim Seeley. I think he's doing an okay job.
There you go.
Even though I'm completely not invested in the Age of Revelation.
He tried.
Yeah, well, I do think that I think this is the key, is that if you aren't really following the Age of Revelation, but you just like Deadpool, I think you can still enjoy this. Like, it isn't something you can just enjoy this as a Deadpool story. Like, it's like not an Elseworlds type of a thing, but just just like a random weird Deadpool story that takes place in an alternate future. If you don't follow anything with the rest of the crossover, but you just like reading Deadpool comics, I think you will enjoy this. So there's that, and I think that is important. That is good because that's the weird dangerous line that a lot of creators walk when they're doing tie-ins, where it's like I try to make it relevant to the ongoing crossover so that people will buy it,
Right.
but also like if you're not invested in the crossover, you're not going to really understand what's happening or care about it in any way. So I'm talking a lot about this, and I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself at this
No,
point.
no. Well,
But
it's
I do feel like you can just read that as a Deadpool story and enjoy it.
Yeah, that covers a lot of bases. You know.
Yeah. All right. What's something else you got down there?
Let's see. I have issue 2 of Voyeur.
All right. This is from Ignition Press, right?
Yes, this is from Ignition Press. I would not flip through that because there's a ton of nudity.
Oh my goodness.
It's
We'll
like
just show
every
this
other
cover
page.
here. It's
Yeah.
like every other page. Well, now you got me. We're not going to put it on camera, but I got to look. Okay, first page, no.
Well,
Second
okay.
page, no.
I was a little dramatic.
You lied to me, sir. Third page, no. Fourth page, no. Fifth, sixth page, man, what is this? Are you
Okay,
pranking me?
keep going.
Seventh, eighth, we're like halfway through the book now.
All right, so the second half,
Okay.
there's like nudity every page.
Those bikinis. There we go. Okay, so yeah, like halfway through the book. Okay, but so we'll just show there's the nudity right there. We can show the first couple of pages though.
Yeah,
like we can show this. So yeah, what did you read the first issue?
I
Yes?
did.
Okay.
The first issue.
Did we talk about it on the stream?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
It was good.
I know I read the preview that they put out, the Ash Can.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed that, but I didn't read the full issue. So you like this?
I did. Yeah. So the first issue was centered around the security guard who's secretly an art thief.
Mm-hmm.
As he's watching this woman through the cameras and recognizes that she's like a famous gallerist, and they kind of collaborate that they're going to do some kind of art heist together. It's really unclear what criminal activity they're up to, but like
it's something nefarious,
something
no doubt.
bad.
Yeah.
And so this issue's completely from her perspective.
Okay.
And
I lost track of like which page I was on, and I don't remember where the nudity is, so we might have to.
Up.
Okay, yeah, we'll just take that off the downward camera. But is it like meant to be like mysterious? Like there's something weird going on with these two, and it hasn't been revealed yet, like what their whole history is or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're both very aware of each other, which is weird.
I mean, it's called Voyeur, like.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
All right.
It was good.
Cool. Yeah, Ignition Press, they've been doing a ton of new stuff lately. A lot of it is really like horror themed.
Yes.
So I guess they picked the right month to launch stuff.
This isn't, I think I appreciate this a little more because this is like just a straight thriller. Like,
okay.
There's no real horror element to it like the other books have. Not that there's anything wrong with horror.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. I personally kind of prefer like thrillers just in general to horror, like,
Yeah, psychological thrillers.
Yeah, exactly.
I would classify this as one of those.
Okay, very cool. Well, all right. Let's see. What's the last thing that you flipped through?
The last thing I flipped through
and then I got one other thing I'm going to talk about.
I got Imperial #4.
Oh, yeah. The Marvel... It's not really the event book, because that's One World Under Doom. This is just the...
This is also an event, but it's like a micro event.
That's what I thought.
I guess because there were a bunch of crossover issues. I think there was a Black Panther, a She-Hulk. There might have been like a Shi'ar Empire one.
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, there were all these like one shots that are tied to it, and I kind of lost track of what was what.
Yes.
Very
which is
easily.
Exactly what happened, which is why I only skimmed maybe like the first 5 or 6 pages because I was just like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, that's interesting, especially because it's like happening at the same time as One World Under Doom.
Yeah.
And that's clearly the event that Marvel is pushing.
Right.
Whereas this feels more like a Jonathan Hickman project, which it is.
Yes.
But yeah, that's just kind of interesting, I guess. Were they gonna tie into each other? Like, is there some relation there?
You mean One World Under Doom?
Yeah, One World Under Doom.
There are no intersections for that story as far as I know.
Okay.
But
I wouldn't expect them to. I just, I guess I wouldn't put anything past them these days.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like with Professor X leaving Earth and going to live with the Shi'ar, like
Hmm.
that may have been a tether to get them back to Earth for the
Right.
story, but I don't know. A lot of craziness going on in Marvel space, that's for sure.
This is one of the better looking Marvel books. I will give them that.
Yeah.
We didn't say who the artist was. Is it Federico Vincentini? I think so. Yeah. There's two of them. Ivan Coelho and Federico Vincentini. Well, it's a good looking book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool, but I had no idea what was going on, and I've read the 3 previous
You
issues.
read the 3 previous
Yeah, but
issues?
it's been so long. Like I feel like there was a gap in order to allow the release of like the tie-in issues.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
and I didn't read any of those to my dismay.
Well, it took
so-
me a second to realize that this is issue 4 because I feel
Yeah.
like it's been coming out for a long time, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
that's probably why because they've been doing those tie-in issues. Huh, interesting. So it is coming. Issue 4 is coming out tomorrow. We can't recommend it one way or the other because
Maybe reread the third one.
maybe
before you
maybe
read
get
the
caught
fourth
up.
one, because that I don't want to like disparage the book in any way. I think this was a total user error in my part. So
Well, that's all right.
check it out still.
All right. We got one more book to talk about that's coming out tomorrow. And I have been waiting on this one for a long time. This is part of the Godzilla vs. America series. This is Godzilla versus Kansas City.
Nice.
And this is a bunch of short stories by a bunch of cool Kansas City artists. I've gone to a couple of, I go to conventions in the Kansas
Yeah.
City area, so I've met all of these guys several times, so I can personally vouch that they're all cool dudes, and I'm really glad that this issue got to be made. This cover
Awesome.
by the great Freddie Williams III, and it's penciled by him and it's inked by Buster Moody, who's one of my favorite indie creators. And then they collaborated on the variant cover, which is penciled by Buster and inked by Freddie.
Oh,
And
that's
so
cool.
I'm really upset that they might get me to buy both covers because it's by both of them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not like I was, you know, no disrespect to Freddie, but like I really like Buster's art and I was all prepared to buy Buster's cover. And here he is basically doing two covers because
Right.
they're both doing, you know.
Isn't that wild how like he inked one,
Yeah.
penciled the other? The art styles are so vastly different.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But like and that's the other reason I like it as like an artistic experiment of just
Mhm.
like how you can kind of see both artists their style shine through in different ways on each cover.
Yeah.
Because this is the one that's penciled by Freddie and inked by Buster, and this is the one that's penciled by Buster and inked by Freddie, and like that's definitely a Buster face. Like
Okay.
that is how he draws in the opening issue. This opening story it's written and drawn by Buster, and he has a style that's very similar to Jake Smith of RoboWolf that we
Okay.
talked about. Like this is like Buster's
yeah.
Buster's art style. It's very it's also informed by like underground alternative styles, and he also has a love of video games and like 80s and 90s alt stuff. And so yeah, like you can see like Godzilla, like the way he draws Godzilla's face, you can just it's got those big expressive eyes and
very expressive.
yeah, and then Freddy's is more like a traditional Godzilla. And then so there's a story in here that is written and drawn by Buster, and then there's another story that is written and penciled by Freddy with finishing inks by Buster. So this one still has like that Buster style, but like you can see that right there. That's a Freddie Williams Godzilla.
Yeah.
Like that's just got his style all over it. But yeah, it's really neat. It's it's Godzilla stories that takes place in Kansas City, and I'm glad to see Buster and Freddie doing all this cool work. And there's also a story in here by none other than Jake Smith that we just talked about because he's also in Kansas City. So yeah, maybe RoboWolf took so long because he had to hurry up and do this Godzilla story. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, and I'm glad to see Jake drawing Godzilla again because, like I said, he drew the Godzilla War for Humanity story, which I really liked. I love his take on Godzilla. That I love the way he draws Godzilla to look like the old like 70s era where you can tell it's like a awkward suit, and like he just draws it like that. It's like whenever you see an artist draw Muppets, like when you see Muppets rendered in art, where it's like you can tell it's not a puppet, but it's like supposed to be a thing that sort of looks like a puppet, but also looks like a living thing,
Right.
and it's always a little weird. That's what he's got. That's what like Jake's got going on with this his version of Godzilla. And this is also a story written by Kyle Stram, who is also a Kansas City creator. He's written and drawn a lot of stuff. He did the series Spread at Image.
Oh wow.
I mean, it's been several years
Yeah.
now since then, but he did the art on like the first 12 or so issues. He was the co-creator, and
Okay.
he's done he's working and he does stuff. But like that was probably one of his bigger books.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it's just cool like seeing Kyle and Jake doing this, and then it's like a two-part story. So the first part is drawn by Jake, and the second part is drawn by another Kansas City artist, Baldomir Riveras, I believe is how it's pronounced, and that's like the second part of the Kyle Stram story, and
Okay.
it's just really cool. I'm really happy that that those guys got to do this. I had no idea that they were going to do a Kansas City Godzilla. It just
Right.
feels like like you're gonna do San Diego, New York, Chicago,
Right.
Boston, and like Kansas City came out of nowhere for me. I didn't find out about it until I saw Buster announce it like on his socials.
Oh, cool.
He was like, "Hey, I'm working on a Godzilla story," and I thought, awesome. So yeah, this is another. I have been enjoying this series, this Godzilla vs America series. It's not like essential Godzilla reading, but I really like it as an artist-driven anthology, and I like the theme where every issue has short stories by artists from the city that is featured. So like this one's all Kansas City artists,
Right.
the Boston one was all Boston artists, Chicago's all Chicago artists, and I just think that's really cool. I
No,
think
it
it's
is
great that they're
cool.
doing that.
Do the comics feature, I'm sure Chicago and San Diego feature like well-known landmarks. Are there any in the
Oh
Kansas
yeah,
City
that's
one?
like the like we can. I'm not a Kansas City expert by any means, but yeah, like there's like this is the convention where Planet Comic Con is held every year. Like that's featured in many of them.
Oh.
The Freddy story has this is like actually the whole thing is about like Kansas City landmarks. Like there's a bridge that Godzilla destroys. There's I don't know what that building is. There's a lot of like here you see these are all like famous like Kansas City landmarks, and there is in the I think it's this one, the Kyle Stram story. Yeah, the Kyle Stram Jake Smith story. They one of the themes is like small businesses banding together to kind of like figure out a way to stop Godzilla and fight for survival. And I can't help but wonder like how many of these characters are real local creators.
That's
and well, so I can tell you I do know that this one is an actual like real person. He's not named, but that's the guy that runs Planet Comic Con.
Oh.
And they make a mention of him in this panel here, where he makes a mention. He specifically mentions Planet Comic Con. I guess he doesn't use the name Planet Comic Con, but
it's on the van.
It's yeah. There's on the Van Planet, and he mentions my Comic Con. So that's like 100%. I think his name is, I think it's Chris Jackson. I've met him a few times. But anyway, so yeah, like I know for sure that one is a real person, which makes me assume that all the other ones are like caricatures of real small business owners that they know, and so yeah, that's pretty neat that they did that. Even though I don't like, it's a fun Easter egg, even if I don't know who any of them are. But anyway, yeah. So check out Godzilla versus America, Godzilla versus Kansas City. A lot of cool artists in this one. And oh yeah, look on the back there. There's an ad featuring the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Freddie Williams is taking over as the new artist for the Ninja Turtles series. So like that's a look of his normal style of art, like not inked by Buster, which like I said, it still comes through in the story, but it is just fascinating to kind of see the just like what a difference like an inker can make, you know, on something. So yeah, very cool. All right, everybody, that's all I got to talk about. Like we said, 5 weeks, 5 Wednesdays this month. So I don't know if any episode this month went over, which is I'm not complaining about. All right, everybody. Like our friend Dan says, there's comics out there for everybody. It's not just superheroes. Sometimes it's Godzilla or space. You know,
Or Bigfoot.
Jonathan Hickman or Bigfoot, and yeah, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, come on down, Fantasy Books and Games, and buy some comic books. We got to write a jingle.
I was like, do you want me to dance along right now?
All right, we're out of here. We'll see y'all later. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.